Well, a breaking update to a story that ABC 13's Jessica Willie broke last night at 10. A Houston Metro Police lieutenant is now charged, accused of running down a pastor at an apartment parking lot. And there's a big twist to this story.
I gotta be honest with y'all. I don't know what the hell I just got us into, man. This popped up on my feed, man. Shout out to you guys in the comment section, man. One of you guys, I don't want to get to calling names because I'm gonna forget somebody, but somebody jumped in the comment section and said I'm always sharing, and likewise, I'm always appreciative of the love, man. You know what I mean? So thank you guys. Don't ever think I'm not watching and paying attention. You know what I mean? I respond to the positive comments just like sometimes I jump in the comments and respond to the negative ones. But thank you. I wanted to say that. Houston, I kind of figured it out. I think we're in Houston, right? We're going to check it out and see. We're going to watch it at the same time, guys. I didn't watch any of it by myself this time, but I figured it out. We're going to do probably segregate these videos by states because there's so much going on. And, today we're in the great state of Texas. I want to look more into this case so I can see specifically where we are and tell you guys, but because I want to watch it at the same time that you do, I'm not going to. I'll tell you this, I have a crazy story coming to you out of Minnesota, Lord willing. But right now, let's just stay where we at, see what they got going on down there.
Yeah, tonight, Lieutenant Tarlisha James is charged with aggravated assault family member. Court records saying that family member is her church pastor and that the two were previously in a relationship. The pastor jumping out of the way of her Metro SUV just in time, but still getting hurt. Her attorney says it was just a freak accident.
There's not a crime here.
Attorney Letitia Quinones-Hollins certain that her client will be cleared.
She did not hit him with her vehicle, and neither did she leave the scene.
We do have Lieutenant Tarlisha James seen here in an interview from last year, tonight charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And the victim, according to court records, Pastor Roderick Dawson of St. Paul AME Church.
Can you talk about the nature of their relationship?
No.
But court records state Dawson told the investigator the two, married to other people, were in a previous dating relationship that ended 2 years ago, but continued as friends. Monday morning, he asked her to bring him a key to the Willowbend apartments near Humble. That's where the incident happened.
He believed that someone was after him because she was in a different vehicle. And so he dove to get out of the way of the vehicle. And as a result of that, he injured himself.
Citing security video and an eyewitness, the investigator wrote that James's Metro-issued SUV accelerated speed and steered in Dawson's direction, and that James yelled an obscene threat. Court records list his injuries as cuts and bruises, a broken hand, broken rib, and broken knee. Her attorney says she tended to him.
Lieutenant James did, in fact, accompany him to the hospital to assure that he was okay. In fact, she was the one who drove him to the hospital.
Dawson's church in Greens Point was locked up when we stopped by, and he did not respond to a request for comment.
And we're doing everything in our power to find those.
James, who often spoke publicly for the department on crime scenes, has been placed on administrative leave, and her attorney says hopes to return to police work.
I am certain that once the district attorney's office hear the actual facts as they are, that those charges will not move forward.
I'm certain with you, Miss Love Turner lady. When she first popped on the screen and she said there is no crime here, like I burst out laughing. But like I said, we're gonna watch the video. I'm not gonna stop it. But I really wanted you guys to get my immediate response because that's all I could think like. And then the more I watched this video, the more upset I got, and I'm gonna tell you why, man. You often hear statistics cited about how men are more violent than women, and we got the proof of it, right? And I just live in the real world, guys, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to point this out. At the end of the video, the lady said, I'm certain once the district attorney hears the reality of what happened, these charges will be dropped. And unfortunately, that's what happens a fair amount of the time. Women are guilty of domestic violence and men are the victim. No doubt, man. I don't know what they have going on in their lives. I often always say in videos too, I like to remind us that we're all human, right? So as to pertaining to whatever they got going on in their relationships, man, I've been involved in some of the biggest relationship scandals myself personally, to be trying to just come down and condemn anyone else. about what they got going on. I want to talk about this from a perspective of you being a law enforcement officer and still being human, and then the domestic violence aspect of it. What will end up happening with this case, the attorney already told us 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, she's absolutely correct. It will get thrown out for 2 reasons. 1, the lady is a cop. 2, she's a female domestically abusing a man. They literally have the video, because I always think about this when cops arrest cops and cops begin to indict cops. Whether they're doing it like formally, legally on paper and in courts, or whether they're just doing it verbally, you know what I mean? Because cops don't turn on cops, you know what I mean? Cops back cops up no matter what. So once they stop doing that, the question always pops up in my mind, what's going on here? And I think they answered it for us. I could be wrong. Like, they have the video, you know what I mean? So I don't know what Texas's domestic violence laws are. I don't even know what Florida's are. But I do remember at a time they changed in Georgia where if the cops are called out to one of those calls, they have to take somebody to jail. And I think if I remember correctly, it was because so many instances were happening when they just went and left and then somebody got hurt later. So I don't know how that works in Texas, if that's part of the motivation too. But they already told us, you know what I mean, that they have the entire incident on camera, no matter how her lawyer, attorney, or even her cop buddies try to spin it. So for me, this is just very sad. I always remind people, man, cops are human, right? I don't hate cops. So if you come to this channel looking for somebody who's always going to be down on cops, like in my last video, I said I think they did that officer, I can't remember where he was at, but he was trying to scare his nephew with this police issued taser while he was in his, police uniform. So they suspended him, they arrested him and charged him with 2 felonies. And I said, I think they overdid that because he was a 21-year-old rookie cop. His nephew was 10. And if you watch the video, it seemed like his nephew may have been fighting or getting into some kind of trouble. And he was trying to prevent that mindset in his nephew. And he absolutely went about it the wrong way. But I don't think it's a situation where they needed to throw him under the bus. So people had a problem with that, and I don't have a problem with people having their opinions. I'm just reiterating, if you're looking for a cop hate channel over here, you won't get it. I take people as they are, an individual circumstance by circumstance. But as far as the institution of policing and American government, period, for that matter, I don't trust them, I don't like them, and I feel very vile toward them. We get back to this situation right here and how these DTs, because once you try to, I don't think this was a cop thing. I think this was a out of control, emotional woman thing who is very okay with trying to kill somebody and hit them with. I mean, once you try to hit somebody with a big vehicle, bro, police cruiser, they was talking like it was a Jeep. You don't say I was just trying to hurt them. At that point, that's attempted murder. And they didn't even charge her with that. So yeah, you are definitely a domestic terrorist. Like, we can't let this go at all. And this goes back to what I'm trying to always tell people, cops are human. I'm not saying that to excuse or justify their actions or even to condemn them for their actions. I'm trying to remind us that just because they put on that damn uniform don't make them super above any activities that humans can be applauded for or indicted for. That's just, the bottom line. That having that job, wearing that badge, walking around like you some type of military agent, and you in your head you've convinced you and all the blind blue linebackers that you out here to be our heroes. No, that doesn't make you a damn hero. It makes you human, and that's why we get stories like this. And on the other side of it, the domestic violence side, I don't know what all his motivations will be, but I can tell you many men have been brainwashed by many different avenues to not see being a victim of domestic violence as serious as women are always taught to see it. So you flip this situation around and you put any man in that vehicle and he's trying to run over a female and they have it on video camera, the evidence, and he's screaming, "I told you not to F with me." We know what the conversation looks like. But what happened here is, and like I said, I don't know his motivations. This pastor he's already, hiding from the cameras. I don't know if it's because they said they're still married, but he's going to let it, the water under the bridge thing. And that's not what should happen here. Full charges on this woman should be pursued. Now, am I saying she's a horrible person or a horrible cop? I don't know. I watched the video with you guys. I didn't do my usual investigation, so I could have gave you that kind of information. So I have to go on what I have. I think she's out of control. She obviously has no business being in any position of leadership, counseling and therapy and those type of things. Obviously, she probably needs to be availed to those, but that doesn't cover it here, man. You literally tried to murder a guy. I don't give a damn what's going on in your relationship. I ain't even gonna talk about the fact that the reports say you and him are married, so you guys are committing adultery, you're cheaters, you're liars, unless your spouses are in and y'all got some kind of freaky thing going on, and you have every right to. It's not my business. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the fact that you tried to kill this man with a vehicle. I'm talking about the fact that while doing that, you were in your police-issued, taxpayer-funded vehicle. I'm talking about the fact that you're here. I don't know, but you very well may have even been in your uniform. None of that even matters to me, and I'll highlight this and probably end the video. Guys, I'll say this, man. Cops get to behave as cops, even when they're off the clock. So if a cop commits a crime, they're going to be not penalized for it with all of the provisions and all the privilege that comes with that job. If you commit a crime against a cop and they're off the clock, you're going to be penalized for it like all of the privileges that they have that come with that job and that position. So I'm saying that to remind us that they always need to be behaving like cops, no matter if they're in uniform, on the clock, or whatever. So this is a horrible situation. People need to be made examples of. I'm not a hammer guy. I'm not the hammer guy. Every time something happens, you need to drop the hammer. That's not me. But we just have way too many instances of American domestic terrorists. That's why I refer to them as this. In situations like this, they're trying to murder taxpaying citizens and sometimes even each other. Sometimes they're trying actually materializing into actual murder and violence. And they're doing this consistently throughout our country. And all we get is not only these attorneys, because we expect that from her. Hell, if she was representing a private citizen, she would be saying the same thing. But we expect that from her. But the government, now, she already told us, and she didn't lie when she said it, guys. The district attorney will see what really happened. Well, ma'am, the cameras told us what really happened. But you guys will still be able to spin that in a way to let this domestic terrorist, this very violent, maybe if God's sovereign grace didn't intervene that day, I didn't see the video, she possibly could be a murderer if something didn't stop that from, turning out way worse that day. But she's definitely a violent criminal, man. And there's no way she should be on the police force. And there's no way that any part of this incident should be water under the bridge. It needs to be dealt with fully. And you guys, listening ears, Trailhand Bill, reporting live from South Florida, Miramar to be exact today. Teach your sons the same way you teach your daughters. There's no way any woman should be out here abusing them. And there's no way they should be letting that go and sweeping it under the rug. Y'all be safe.
He believed that someone was after him because she was in a different vehicle. And so he dove to get out of the way of the vehicle. And as a result of that, he injured himself.
Court records list his injuries as cuts and bruises, a broken hand, broken rib, and broken knee.
So he dove to get out of the way of the vehicle. And as a result of that, he injured himself.
Her attorney says she tended to him.
Lieutenant James did, in fact, accompany him to the hospital to assure that he was okay. In fact, she was the one who drove him to the hospital.
I bet she did, man. Hell, if I just try to kill somebody, I want to make sure they're going to stay alive, too. For obvious reasons. She might not be fit to be a police officer, but she clearly ain't that crazy. And plus, she want to make sure if he live, he not going to tell everybody what really happened and send her exactly where she need to be.
Court records list his injuries as cuts and bruises, a broken hand, broken rib, and broken knee.
I wonder if that was her son or some of these DTs who are going to help this lady walk free of these charges. Daughter who was broken from head to toe after diving away from a vehicle veering in their direction. Would they be as supportive of the man or woman who was behind the wheel? You lie like police, shorty. Thank you if you made it this far. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you care to go a little further than that, maybe even subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out a few of the other videos on the channel. Either way, y'all be safe.